And we're live. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of This Week in Real Estate, hosted by yours truly's, the bearded men of real estate. I'm Ray. Say hi, Dan.
Hi, Dan.
And that's Dan. We're both real estate agents. I am in Arkansas. Dan is all the way around the world, depending on which way you go, in LA.
Yeah, and you guys are currently looking at one of the coaches for the best team in Arizona.
The Stars?
Yeah.
You're a coach for the best team in Arizona?
Yeah.
So did you flee California?
No, we still live in California.
You live in California, but you coach for the...
We beat the best 12U travel team in all of Arizona. So that makes us the best team in Arizona from California.
Of course. Yeah.
I mean,
that's
right?
the way it works there.
Isn't that how that works?
So we are broadcasting live right now. Speaking of being the best in the world at things, we are still ranked towards the top.
Us.
We are still ranked towards the top of all news podcast. I'm being very serious here. So we're number 16 news commentary podcast in the entire country of Taiwan. So I have no idea why, but that is we have most of our views come from the States, but for whatever reason, a lot of views come from Taiwan. So thank you to all the Taiwanese folks that are tuning into the show.
And didn't we have one from Russia?
We did have one from Russia.
One from Australia.
Love. Yeah, I do want to think. I kind of came up with a hypothesis. You know, there's all these new VPNs and stuff like that that's happening. So I'm wondering if people are VPNing using Taiwanese IP addresses and such. And so the pod feeds now think that we're the number 16 news commentary show in Taiwan.
Whatever.
I love it. I mean, whatever. I'm there. So we're broadcasting live in 3 places right now. We're on YouTube. And if you're joining us on YouTube, you could comment on YouTube, just like this gentleman did. We could display your comment and talk about you or your comment.
Gentleman. like we don't know who that is.
That gentleman is Tim Macy.
The most shadiest shade I've ever heard. Yeah. That's amazing.
He's Tim Macy of the Tim Macy Show, #whiteboxing. Tim says, what roller coaster is that on the thumbnail? I'm not sure. If you missed the thumbnail, go check it. I've posted it in a couple of places. I put it on my Instagram. You can find it there. That's the easiest place to find it.
Yeah, but it's on my Instagram as well, or you can obviously go watch us on YouTube. But our thumbnail game has been good for a long time. But the last 5 weeks,
4.
I mean, solid.
Yeah, we've changed the way we're doing. But anyway, it's a roller coaster for the audio listeners and podcasters that are like, just tell us. It's the roller coaster with Kevin Hart and Jimmy Fallon.
Yep. Because
we're going to be talking about the ups and downs in the real estate market today, and then we took those heads and replaced it. So I am playing the part of Kevin Hart, a much shorter version of me.
Yeah, much shorter. I mean, a foot shorter. But we were talking about the stories, and we're both kind of like, dude, it's like, all right, this is up, that's down, this is awesome, that sucks. You know, it's like, all right, let's go with roller coaster.
Yeah. So anyway, you can comment on YouTube and we can display your comment just like Melissa's doing. What's up, Melissa? Thanks for joining us. And also on Facebook, also you can comment there and we can display your comment on Facebook. We're having a share issue with Facebook. But we're also broadcasting live in Clubhouse. And so if you're in the Real Estate Networking Club in Clubhouse, it's the largest gathering of real estate agents in the entire nation on the app Clubhouse.
At almost 37,000 members.
37,000 members. This is a great spot to be. There's all kinds of great rooms that happen there. And I think we're going to try to revive a lounge, which is kind of a fan favorite in there. So be sure you're following the Real Estate Networking Club. Hit the little greenhouse at the top if you're listening in Clubhouse. We do have replays on, so you can always catch this later if you need to, or you could just subscribe to the podcast. So a little later this afternoon or early in the morning, the podcast of this show that we're talking about right now will be released. And if you're catching it later on YouTube, we try to go through and put the chapters back on YouTube. So you could go to the description and miss all the banter and just fast forward past that to your favorite part. Like if you really want to get to the part that talks about the buyer love letters, then you could just go down and click the little timestamp and get right there.
Boom.
Yeah, that's one of the topics we're talking about today. Buyer love letters. It seemed like they were on the fritz for a long time. As a matter of fact, National Association of Realtors came out against them, and it looks like Oregon is overruling. So,
okay, but why?
It's not constitutional.
Why?
They don't think it's constitutional to not allow a buyer love letter. So we'll get into that. We're talking about mortgage applications. You know, last week we reported was it last week or the week before, we had breaking news with the Fed raising rates, and we reported that live, and we talked about what's going to happen with mortgage applications, and it looked like that, of course, mortgage applications would go down at higher rates, but that's not exactly what happened. We did see some rate locks tumble, so that's interesting. Adjustable rate mortgages, they're on the rise. We'll be talking more about that. That's the third week straight that we've referred to the adjustable rate mortgage highs. Then we have inflation. That's at an all-time high. So we'll talk about that as well. Jumbo mortgages up to 3 million. Yeah, that's normal. We'll talk about that.
Why not?
More Americans are saying right now is not a good time to buy. Are they right or are they wrong? And then there's an opinion piece we'll briefly cover called The Beginning of the Mortgage Ice Age. Housing supply is finally improving. FHA is giving investors a cold shoulder. NAR is raising your fees. Rocket Mortgage has got good profits, except they are preparing for declines. And then Rex, we've been referring to the Rex lawsuits and everything's happening with the National Association of Realtors versus Rex. And they seem to be ceasing operations. There's some markers out there that may lead to that. And then finally, we'll talk about some changes in Airbnb. So we got a ton of news to cover today. I mean, literally
a lot of unpacking to do today.
Truck ton. So Dan, before we get into all this news, would you tell people what this show is actually all about?
You know what, I'd love to. Before I started wearing these cool glasses every day of every minute of every day of of every month, I never take them off.
They call him Dan with the glasses.
Yeah, I know.
And the mullet.
There you go. Ellis likes the mullet.
Yeah, it is a good look. It's like the what is it? A mohawk mullet? Is that a thing?
Yeah, I kind of combined. I've had a mohawk forever. It's just kind of my thing. But yeah, so I had them kind of combine the mohawk and the mullet. I thought it was a no-brainer, right? Like,
yeah,
why haven't I ever done this before? But what the first time I had the mullet back in 1989, that's when Ray and I met.
Right.
I had an idea for a show because I am, in fact, a bearded man of real estate, in fact, a bearded man, and I practice real estate. But when I met Ray, and I'm really stretching this one here, I noticed something very interesting about him.
What's that, Dan?
He's never been interviewed on his local news. Never, not once.
Actually, I have. I have. Twice, actually. There's two. You know the secret. So this is here's a good pro tip. We should clip this little section. Here's a good pro tip. So and a news anchor showed up at an old brokerage I worked at, and she was super nice and kind and everything. But news anchors these days, they have to carry all their own gear. So she takes her whole setup in, this giant tripod, this giant camera. She takes all this stuff in.
She didn't have a cameraman with her?
No cameraman. They can't afford them. A lot of places can't afford them these days. So news anchors are doing all their own stuff. She set it up. She interviewed someone else at the brokerage, right? I see her packing up all this stuff. And so I just help her out to her car. And from then on, it was like, hey, I'm going to call you if I need something. And that's how I got an in with the news station, just be kind. So if you ever get the opportunity to help a news anchor, do so. But I would also say, and I didn't do it thinking, oh, maybe she'll interview me next time. She was just obviously having a problem getting out of the door with all this stuff.
It's a lot of stuff. I mean,
right. But one of the things that she taught me was that you should send people articles. You should send or not articles, but you should send article ideas or news ideas to news anchors, and they're more apt to interview you for future stuff, even if it's not relating to you. If you get a skinny on some project or something coming to the city, shoot it to your local news outlet and say, hey, did you guys know this? And to one anchor in particular, so that they can get a lead on the story, because they're always looking for stories all the time.
You can become a source.
So there you go. There's a little pro tip. So, and then I got on the news twice because of that.
And I honestly expected Ray to say, you know what? Actually, I did expect that answer, but every week I'm trying to come up with something different where Ray doesn't have a story. Guess what? He's got a story.
Always there's a relationship with almost everything.
Yeah. And not only did he, get interviewed on the news, he helped the news anchor out and essentially became a source. I mean, why not? That's amazing. But just like in Ray's story, I noticed that he's obviously a beautifully bearded man, but he loves giving value up front to not only humans and anchors in general, but just to everyone outside of the real estate business. So the show's about being more as an agent, but also being more as a human.
And that's really the reason we do this show, is because we believe that a rising tide lifts all boats. And as a real estate industry as a whole, if we can offer one place for you guys to come and get the latest breakdown of some of the biggest news stories affecting real estate and real estate agents, then it helps you talk intelligently on the subject with your clients who are expecting you to know this stuff because you're managing their largest investment. So,
and there's a lot of stuff this week. So pay attention. We're going to kind of rip through these stories. Now, there's not a ton of content in every single one of them, but there are a lot of them. There's a lot of little kind of, how do you want to say it, Ray? Like newsworthy things or stuff you should copy and paste or like link articles to in your stories on Instagram or wherever you share your stuff. There's a lot of really good stuff, a lot of really good knowledge this week.
Green screen, a lot of green screen opportunities. If you do the green screen, have you ever done those on the what's it, TikTok?
No, I don't like TikTok or have TikTok, and never will.
I mean, it's a good way to, like, you could green screen these news stories and talk about them.
Yeah, it just kind of does it, right? You don't even need a green screen. It just kind of puts it up behind you. Yeah, I see them. I see the reels on Instagram anyway, but it's also a really good way to get fished and get all your info taken from you.
Don't do that. Especially if it's catfish. Don't give your info.
Okay. Read the permissions on TikTok. Go ahead.
Hey, there's a lot of good people down here. Marcus Necessary, Melanie. Hey, Peggy. Hey guys. Hey, feel free to come up and
Peggy. Yeah, who wants to talk? Let's go.
Okay.
Wait, is that Marcus?
Yeah.
That's what he looks like?
Yeah.
Huh.
You haven't seen him in a while, right?
I've never looked at him on.
Oops. That was also my hand slipped and I accidentally hit the button.
That was amazing. All right.
Hey, it's a great transition. So let's just dive right in. Yeah. All right, we forgot our actual transition. You ready?
Oh yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
I thought.
There we go.
Please just do that first one as a chop.
All right.
Mortgage good
rise despite higher rates.
Oh, yeah.
Prospective home buyers aren't deterred by skyrocketing mortgage rates amid a slow start in the spring home buying season this year. The Market Composite Index, the MCI, a measure of loan application volume, rose 2% on a seasonally adjusted basis for the week ending May 6th from the previous week, by the way. So this is interesting. This quote is from Joel Kahn. He's the Mortgage Bankers Association's Associate Vice President of Economic and Industry Forecasting. He says, despite a slow start this year's spring home buying season, prospective buyers are showing some resiliency to higher rates. Purchase activity has now increased for 2 straight weeks. Specifically talking about the purchase activity, he goes on to say the rapid rise in mortgage rates continue to hit the refinance market, which actively, with activity 70% below a year ago. Most homeowners refinance the lower rates in the past 2 years.
Yeah. I feel like on this one, as I was reading through it, I kind of felt like, there's all those people that are waiting. Like, okay, our housing prices going up. Yes, they're going to keep going up, but they're starting to slow, right? Like home price gains are slowing. Our interest rate's going to keep going up. Yes. So all those people that are waiting are like, okay, am I going to wait until they're 7 and houses have gone up another 6 to 7%? Or am I just going to jump in now? So I think this is kind of the signs of people are like, okay, they're kind of here. And we have a story in a minute that kind of suggests why jumpers
don't jump,
why buyers may have jumped back into the market. But I feel like this is a sign of that. We're like, you know what? They're here. This isn't crazy. Things seem to be stabilizing a bit in the market. I'm going to jump in now. I'm just going feet first into the water.
There's a lot of talk about normalcy, right? How normal is the market going to become? How normal is it getting compared to the crazy that it has been in the last several years?
Yeah. But the last couple of years are unprecedented. I mean, there's never been anything like it before. So to go backwards and mellow out at all is more towards normal. You know what I mean?
Right. And this is not a number we track often, but let's get to the mortgage rate locks and then we can talk about the adjustable rate mortgages too. Okay, so I'm sorry. I'm producing live. I accidentally am displaying the wrong article, but I'll fix that. All right, there you go. Mortgage rate locks tumble amid a sharp rate rise. So this is also from Housing Wire. This was on May 9th. The one that we just covered was on May 11th. So this was a couple of days before that. But fewer buyers rushed to lock mortgages last month amid a rapid climb in long-term mortgage rates, reflecting home affordability concerns. So fewer buyers rushed to lock mortgages amid rapid climb in long-term mortgage rates. So they felt like 2 days ago that mortgage rates are going to dip back down.
Right.
You would think that they would like rush to lock it so it doesn't go up any higher. They said the average 30-year conforming mortgage rate climbed to 5.27 last week, marking the highest average since 2009. Refinancing has had the biggest impact, which we just talked and read about. Cash out refinance activity, in contrast, is led by increasing volume, increasing home values by homeowners seeking to tap into their home equity. So in April, cash out refinance locks were down 31.1% from March and slumped 51.7% from a year earlier. And I'm wondering if that's because a lot of people that were thinking about doing that have already done that, taking advantage of the much lower rates.
Yeah.
Even though the home prices are still going up.
I mean, if you absolutely had to do something to your house, a HELOC wouldn't be too bad right now, especially if you've,
Right.
I mean, one of our articles stating, that home prices are up 34% in the last 2 years. I mean, if you've made 34% in equity, potentially, why not pull out 10% and see what you can do to the house to make it even more valuable?
So an interesting note about this, I was talking to my coach about this morning. It says mortgage rate locks tumble amid a sharp rise. That being said, while purchase rate locks were down somewhat in March, they remained flat from last April, reflecting consistent and resilient demand from home buyers. So they're kind of contradictory to the whole headline, but okay.
Well, this is the first thing I thought, because I read the first one, which was Housing Wire. Then I read this one, which is Housing Wire. And the first thing I thought was, dude, come on, Housing Wire. You can't have your cake and eat it too. Like, everything's getting better. Oh, it sucks now. It's like they're contradicting themselves. But I guess the data is the data, right?
Yeah.
Can I just read something real quick? The very last thing. So did you read it? The Black Knight's monthly market monitor reports?
No, go ahead.
It provides origination metrics for the U.S. and the top 20 metropolitan statistical areas by share of total origination volume. The New York, Newark, Jersey city regions had the highest rate lock volume at 4.1% in April. And now this one confuses me a little bit, Ray. The Los Angeles, Long Beach, Anaheim regions had the second highest lock volume rate at 3.9%. How is that possible with so many people fleeing California? I don't get that.
I mean, everyone's running from California is what we hear.
It's so weird. I don't know how that number, where you got the second highest rate lock if no one's here to buy a house.
Well, maybe they're using alternative financing methods like a adjustable rate mortgage, perhaps. Adjustable rate mortgages demand surge to a 14-year high as home buyers try to afford this pricey spring market.
I'm just here for the transitions, man. That's
That's
it.
A good one. That was a legit transition. So this article is on CNBC. It could be more listings on the market, or perhaps the fear that interest rates will move even higher, but home buyers are showing more demand for mortgages. They are, however, turning even more to adjustable rate mortgages. And this is the third week that we talked about this. And one of the things that we all talked about several months ago is that lenders would probably have to find different tools and products as the rates go up. Well, it looks like one of the tools that a lot of buyers are latching onto is the adjustable rate mortgage. So this article says that the mortgage applications to purchase a home rose 5% last week compared with the previous week, according to the Mortgage Bankers Association seasonally adjusted index. Demand was still 8% lower than the same week a year ago. But we know that a lot of that demand had to do with the rates being so low. So despite a slow start, we've already read that quote from Joel Kahn. ARMs at the start of the year, when rates were still hovering at record lows, the ARM share was just 3% of all purchase applications. At 11%, that is the highest share since March of 2008. So more borrowers continue to utilize ARMs to combat higher prices. The share of ARMs increased to 11% of overall loans and to 19% by dollar volume. So it's 11% of loan units and 19% of dollar volume is now adjustable rate mortgages.
I mean, those are big numbers, aren't they?
Yeah. I mean, compared to 3%, that's huge.
Can I ask a spicy question?
Yeah.
Isn't this exactly what happened 15 years ago?
Are you comparing the current market to the subprime mortgage, Susie?
I'm just saying, maybe there's a bubble coming, Ray. Maybe we should start talking about it. Maybe. Sorry, I can't do it. I tried. I can't.
Oh, man.
But okay, so I did. There is the chunk in the article. Subprime loans are the biggest differentiator here, right, Ray?
Yeah, I mean the subprime, that is not really happening as it happened then. And also, I think I haven't looked at the debt numbers lately, but I think people still have a lot less debt than they used to. They're more cash, more liquid.
Yeah. Well, and it says ARMs offer lower rates, which can be fixed for terms like 5, 7, or 10 years. ARMs are fully underwritten like fixed rate mortgages, and they require a down payment. This was not the case in the early 2000s when poorly underwritten interest only.
Oh yeah,
ARMs
interest only.
With short teaser periods were blamed for the epic housing crash. So
let's do some interest only, no doc, stated income loans,
no down payment.
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah. And everyone was like, dude, it's gonna be totally fine. Don't worry about it.
Fine. Everything's fine.
It's totally the dog in the house that's on fire. It was totally everything's fine, totally fine. And lenders were like partying and doing lines and just going nuts.
Yeah, someone was asking me about early real estate, and I was like, no, I missed that. And right when I started was RESPA. They were like, no, you guys can't send each other on vacations or anything anymore. So I was like, oh,
you gotta chill.
Okay, got in a little late for that. But no, so yes, that was a good quote. We should definitely include that in a breakout because a lot of people are looking at these ARMs and adjustable rate mortgages and saying exactly what you said. Now, doesn't this mean that it's going to crash? Isn't this exactly what happened? And it is not exactly what happened. It is similar, but it is not exactly what happened. So
yeah, I'm gonna put it to the contributors group right now just so they can have that quote.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, I want that one for later too, because that's a good one there. Now I have to find Ray again. Hi, Ray.
Hi.
Yeah. By the way, I thought the same thing, Matt. On that article you had up, Ray, was it CNBC? Like right there, there's a listing sign for Ruth Carruthers. How much did Ruth have to pay for this article?
Yeah.
Maybe she helped out the writer of the article and like Ray's previous story.
I was fixing to say, I'm going to send a lot of pictures of my signs in front of houses at these awkward angles that they always get.
Yeah, they're always
a whole bunch of reporters. Here's a stock image you can use for free.
You don't have to pay me anything.
But my luck, they're going to use that stock image for free on one that's like
negative.
Terrible negative.
Are real estate agents ruining our country?
Yeah.
Ray Ellen.
Real estate agent convicted of felony. And it's like not me, but they use that stock image.
Hey, Ray said I could use this image for free.
Yeah, that's right.
That's the wrong time. No.
Speaking of dips. So mortgage rates, they actually dropped. They dropped almost a quarter point in just over 24 hours.
Yeah.
So by the middle of the day today, this is an article written yesterday, certain rates at, I want to read the last quote of this article. It's really funny. Yeah. Certain rates at many mortgage lenders were 0.25% lower than they were yesterday morning. A drop that size maybe happens once a year on average. And it's almost always tied to some obvious catalyst or news in the market. The article goes on to say, and this is on Mortgage News Daily, article goes on to say that it wasn't like a glaringly obvious scapegoat in this one. Sure, we could point to a few reasons, basically nothing, no big reason here. So all that having been said, we did indeed see just enough movement in the mortgage bond market to explain. So that's what they're looking at.
Right.
Now, here's a key quote from an article with some amazing insight. You ready? From here, Wednesday's Consumer Price Index, CPI report, stands the best chance to push rates higher or lower from the current levels.
Okay, cool. That's a good quote.
I mean,
okay.
Low value intel.
Yeah. You know what
All
I'm
right,
seeing
guys.
in the
So
future, Ray?
tomorrow there's going to be a consumer price index report, and we really think that this could move rates higher or lower.
Right. Yeah, I've read all the numbers, Ray, and what I'm seeing is that rates are likely going to go lower or possibly higher in the next week.
That's good.
So, but my prediction here for next week is, if we can do a little mini prediction, is this: we're going to see a spike in mortgage applications because this is a big drop with things going up consistently.
Yeah,
this is a quarter point's a pretty big drop. So people are like, and probably a spike in rate locks too. I would imagine.
Yeah.
So we're going to see some stories.
Yeah, I think there's going to be some movement much higher or lower, Dan. Speaking of inflation.
Speaking of higher.
Inflation barreled ahead at 8.3% in April from a year ago. That's near 40-year highs.
I have a lot to say on this one, by the way. You're going to have to stop me from just completely going off the rails.
No, I want you to go off. That's good. That's good. That's good TV. All right. Inflation rose again in April, continuing to climb, that pushed consumers to the brink and is threatening economic expansion. The CPI is a broad measure of prices for goods and services. It increased 8.3% from a year ago. Now, here's a key, like removing volatile food and energy prices. So a lot of people are saying, well, obviously gas and obviously this is volatile. When you remove that, the core CPI still rose 6.2%. Against expectations of a 6% gain.
Right. That's still higher than what's normal, Ray? Like 5%?
Oh, normal inflation, no, it's like 2%, I think.
2%.
Yeah, normal annual inflation. It's usually around 2%.
2 to 3%. So we're at
historically
double that.
We're way over that. Month over month gains were higher, 0.3% versus 0.2% estimate. Price gains also meant that workers continue to lose ground. Real wages adjusted for inflation increased 0.1%, despite the normal increase of 0.3%. Over the last year, earnings have dropped 2.6%, even though hourly earnings are up 5.5%. There's a whole bunch. You can read this whole report on CNBC. We're not going to go through all of it today, but basically this is the thing that the previous article was saying. Well, this could move rates higher or lower. So we'll see what happens in response to this.
So I have a few points on this. So real wages disputed or adjusted for inflation decreased. So actual wages decreased 0.1%.
Yeah.
But, despite a nominal increase of 0.3%. Over the past year, real earnings have dropped 2.6%. Dropped. Okay. Now, average hourly earnings are up 5.5%, but overall dropped 2.6%. So when was it? It was over the last few years. You hear all this talk about CEOs. They're all saying, except for the Arizona iced tea guy, that guy's keeping it at $1. He's keeping Arizona iced tea at 99 cents, and at Vons with my membership rewards, I get it for 89 cents, and it's been that way for 30 years. That's how CEOs need to think. But all this talk is like, okay, I hear you. We hear you. You want our workers to make more, $15 an hour, $20 an hour. We get that. But we're going to have to increase prices a little bit. Yeah. And now, obviously, with the talk of, what is it, Ray? 6.2% inflation.
Yeah.
When you take out the volatile foods and stuff. Okay, that's a little higher than a little bit, on your Starbucks coffee, but it's which is up crazy. I've stopped going to Starbucks because it's so expensive. But you have and it's like, all right, cool. And then now people are making more money. But then you see things like this. I have articles and headlines I see. What CEOs made a median $20 million last year.
Yeah.
That's 254 times more than the average worker.
Yeah.
Okay. So, all right, cool. So Apple, this is last year. Apple CEO pay jumped 569% to $98 million.
Yeah.
Okay. Goldman Sachs CEO jumped 65%. Coca-Cola 40%. Starbucks jumped 39%. Worker pay only increased 5%.
Okay.
So why aren't we having the conversation around CEOs contributing to inflation to make more money? They're like, yeah, inflation is great.
Because it's not a real conversation. I totally disagree with you on this topic repeatedly, because the CEOs don't raise their own pay. There's a board that says, hey, this CEO is valuable to us and we want to keep this guy here rather than him go work at IBM or him go work at Coca-Cola or him go work at Pep. So they are keeping their CEOs that they think is most valuable because they believe that those CEOs add enough value to the company to make the company profitable, and a profitable company can pay employees more.
Yeah, but do they? I mean, that
well, that's the employee's choice. They can go find something else. It's America.
But so you're cool with just 254 times more?
Yeah,
because you
absolutely.
said we're going to raise prices, and then even though the employees didn't really make more, but he made more. And I know it's based on stocks and the board and all that stuff, but I'm absolutely not okay with it.
I mean, I'm totally okay with it. Go get yours. I want to be a CEO.
Aren't you a CEO already?
Well, not a big company. It's just me.
See, I'm the CEO of me too.
I need a different board to raise my pay.
The lady that was in charge of censoring content on Twitter makes $17 million a year.
I think she's about to lose her job.
Yeah, they're not going to censor anything. They're not even going to. Okay, there's the weekly cat butt.
Yeah, I mean,
so this has nothing to do with it. All this money being funneled upwards.
No,
and not down. So, what was the statistic? So real earnings for the average worker have dropped 2.6%.
Right.
But
there's also a whole bunch of people that aren't going to work right now. I mean, look at your local restaurant, right? They help wanted everywhere.
No, we're good. I don't see as much help wanted anymore. Not like.
Oh, we do.
Yeah. Can you stop?
But you know what those really wealthy CEOs are not doing? That a lot of the maybe average Americans are?
What?
Getting a jumbo loan. Morty. It's now providing jumbo mortgages up to $3 million in 44 states. So the online mortgage marketplace focused on home buyers has doubled its headcount over the last year to 70.
To 70. That's still relatively low, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a small company.
I mean,
is that when it says doubled its headcount? I'm assuming that's 35? Talking about the number of employees, not the number of loans.
No, it's headcount.
Yeah, that's the number of people that work there.
So it was only at 35 employees?
Yeah, I guess so.
Doing all that volume?
They're licensed in 44 states, everywhere but Arizona, Hawaii, Nevada, Massachusetts, Missouri, and Utah. Wow, they're even in Arkansas, I guess. I mean, yeah. Here's a little graphic I'm putting on there that shows kind of where, they're open in Arkansas. Adam Rothblatt, he is the what is he? CTO.
CTO. He's the founder in this. So chief technology officer?
Yeah. We expand only when equipped to capitalize on the benefits of our marketplace model and offer buyers an exceptional product and experience. Founded in 2016. Oh, they've been around a while too. Morty launched in 10 markets with 10 lending partners, $3 million in funding. Rising home prices mean that buyers are at the upper end of the market often need jumbo mortgages that exceed the limits of mortgage giants Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. After increasing their 2022 baseline conforming loan limit by 18% to $647,200, mortgage giants can back loans of $1 million. So Morty is doing up to $3 million for jumbo.
I think is it concerning that it's a smaller company doing such large loans, or is it better because it's much more in-house and much more controllable? And they're a brokerage, right? They're brokering these
mortgage
deals,
broker. Right? Yeah. I mean, they have the funding for it and they have the investors, obviously, who are into it.
Yeah. The 25 million round of whatever a couple years ago, and they're doing their own. It's not their own money. They're using other people's money. They're just doing the deals. They're just brokering the deals.
Tim Macy said, what is it the mortgage company is doing actually change the game and provide a better product other than just spending a bunch on marketing?
That's kind of the question that I had. So you probably read it, founded in 2016 by Rothblatt, but the company rolled out a new platform aimed at streamlining the borrowing process for the first time homebuyers, providing a real-time verification. So
right.
I don't understand that part. Real time, like I just upload my documents and it's like, cool, you're good. Now you're pre-approved. How are they streamlining and making that part faster?
They would have had to have rails in place so that, if someone fits in this, then they're verified. Like if they fit along these rails, then they're
Right.
verified. And obviously at a $3 million, there's a lot of things to look at if somebody's purchasing a $3 million house. But maybe it's something where I wonder if you have to go through Morty or if you could go on the back end through Morty. Like if your mortgage broker can call Morty up and say, hey, I've got somebody that wants a jumbo mortgage product. And then they gather it all and then send it in to Morty. I don't know.
Yeah, like that's what because it says their biggest thing or whatever, the biggest note in here is that it streamlines things.
Yeah.
And making real-time verification. But I mean,
if they could do that with regular loans, it would be amazing.
It would be amazing. But even my, lender that I use the most is pretty quick. It still takes him 48 hours to do that. Even on kind of a paper, quote unquote, easier applicants.
Yeah.
So I think it's kind of what Tim is saying. They're just spending a bunch on marketing. And the founder is he's not an actual lender. It seems like he's the chief technology officer. He's not even the financial guy. He's the chief
tech
technology
side of it.
So he's
streamlining
the guy behind the technology. So he's full on fintech, right?
Yeah. Well, it looks like we're not going to need all these loan products or programs anymore anyway, Dan. Because more Americans than ever say it's not a good time to buy a home. This is coming to us from CNBC. It's not exactly surprising. Talk about the jumps in home prices, jumps in rates. Just 30% of adults surveyed by Gallup said now is a good time to buy. It's down 23% from a year ago. Aren't 30% of adults real estate agents?
Yeah, so
just 30% of adults surveyed.
So everyone's like, yeah.
That's the first time the share has been below 50% since the question was first asked in 1978. Wow. So wait, so that means during the height in 2006, it was still there, and during the bottom, it was still above 50%.
Yeah, I don't know if that, like after everything was dismal and horrible and oh my God, everything's crashed. Everyone's like, yeah, no, it's still cool.
Yeah, that's really interesting. Home prices are up 34% since the start of the pandy, according to the S&P Case-Shiller, CoreLogic Case-Shiller National Home Price Index. Supply of homes for sale are still low. Quote, this is from Gallup, the Gallup report. All major subgroups of Americans are significantly less positive about the housing market now than they were a year ago. Those who were more positive about the market last year seem dejected, with larger declines among Midwest residents, suburban residents, and upper income Americans. While Americans may be pessimistic about the current state of home buying, more than ever now think real estate more than ever think real estate is the best long-term investment. 45% chose real estate, while 24% pick stocks, 15% say gold.
I mean, isn't that pretty interesting? Like, no, it's not a great time to buy a house.
Terrible time to buy, but if you're an investor, it's the best investment. And that's at a historic high number.
A historic high number. So I find that's what I noted out of this whole article. I thought that contrast was very enlightening, because where else can you buy something for whatever cost and have it go up? I mean, in the last 2 years, 34%.
Are you feeling the ups and downs of the market? The roller coaster, if you will, to allude to our thumbnail.
I really am. Tim had another question.
Tim says, am I wrong to say that all the big mortgage plays in the last few years have just been huge marketing spins to get more business?
You're not wrong to say that at all, buddy.
I feel like Tim's got something up his sleeve.
He's on.
What you working on, Tim?
He's going somewhere. Look at Ray thinking Tim's up to something.
Tim and I are going to open a mortgage company.
Well, that's Tim? How you get to be a CEO, buddy.
We're not going to spend $1 on marketing. No, I'm kidding. We're going to have to do that. But, is now a good time to open a mortgage company? Because what if this is the beginning of a mortgage ice age? Because that opinion comes to us from Housing Wire. The beginning of the mortgage ice age. The companies with the right people and technology in place will continue to thrive once the ice thaws. What'd you say?
This is you're on the wrong article, by the way, if you want to flip it over.
Oh man. Hang on. I'll do this and then do that. There it is.
But There you go. Okay, this one's full on opinion only, right?
Yeah, this is opinion only, and we're not going to really hit it much. I just wanted you guys to see this out there so that you could know about it. Because a lot of these opinion articles is what people love to quote and say, well, this is happening. Well, it is just an opinion. But it's talking about changing the mindset. What are you already laughing
at? Tim's comment. He's like, let's do it. We'll have the Tesla marketing budget, which is zero. All you have to do is come up with a truck that looks like the craziest thing you've ever seen and then never actually make that truck. Boom, free marketing.
Bulletproof glass, and then you shatter the glass. All right, we're looking at the 2022 market like it's a snow day in January. Close it down for a day or two, clean it up, and get back to business the next week as it warms up. I think we're in a cycle, and it's the equivalent of all past cycles rolled into one. An ice age, not a snow day. Rates will not come down this year. There's no spring buying season. I feel like we're in a spring buying. When was this article written? April 29th is when it was published. He says there's no spring buying season, but I feel like we're in the spring. But it's a pretty good spring buying season.
Well, I just put it out to the contributors group yesterday. I want to know what everyone's inventory is like, and let me read some of those comments. Where is that? Let's go.
Yeah, what do you what's happening in the what's happening in Clubhouse? Do you feel like it's a spring buying season right now, or are you guys looking at this going, oh no, this is terrible? There is no spring buying season right now.
Yeah, see, I'm seeing more. I'm getting a lot more buyers coming out of the woodwork in the last couple of weeks. A lot more. See, now what I was going to say in the contributors group is I don't know if it's more inventory or if things just aren't selling as quickly. Does that make sense, Ray?
If things aren't selling as quickly, it feels like more inventory just because you're seeing more available.
Feels like, because we're still only at about a month of inventory around me, which we were stressed for inventory. A lack of inventory anyway for a long time, for a couple of years. So to have it come back, but I mean, I haven't seen a quote unquote normal amount of inventory, I don't think, ever in my career in 10 years, 11 years. So
yeah,
I've never really seen 4 to 6 months of inventory. It's always been 2 to 3 months, maybe 4, but it's never been that crazy. But
and I guess you could think about Housing Wire as the Inman of mortgage people. Because this article is also like, here, let me go back to it real quick. What are you doing to adapt? And he talks about, things to do, right? And then he talks about the new normal. I want to get to the conclusion because I think this is interesting. He says there will be fewer of us, but the ones that remain will be the best of us. So we've been talking about this for weeks and weeks and weeks, all the layoffs and everything that's happening and how these big mortgage companies are now streamlining they're having to streamline their operations because they had way too many staff do the whole refi, all that stuff. So now they're getting rid of that staff because they don't need it. When refis are 60 and 50% lower than it was last year, then you've got a lot of people twiddling their thumbs.
Well, they probably brought on huge chunks of staff. Now Morty didn't. Morty only brought on 35 people.
Yeah, it was very measured.
They were very, very smart about it. I must give it to the CTO. But all these are, we can't, I mean, every single lender you talk to, I can't handle it. I can't make all these calls. I can't keep up with everything because all these refis. And now inevitably, right? I don't think that was a surprise though.
Right.
But yeah, hopefully the
guy goes on to say
comes down a little bit, because when was it, last week or week before, we covered an article where more and more people are getting in to real estate.
Yeah. But the NAR membership has dipped. This is our opportunity to embrace technology, he says. New partnerships and artificial intelligence. I think if they haven't embraced technology yet, they're already far behind those that are going to survive.
Well, just like NAR is way behind on, I mean, they should have been doing stuff 10 years ago and we're way behind.
So the first quarter of 2022 has already shown substantial drops in volume. Do not be the last one to notice your Q1 numbers were just an overflow of Q4 pipelines. That's an interesting quote. Your Q1 numbers were just an overflow of Q4 pipelines.
Wait, isn't that how it always is though? That's not surprising.
No, usually you can get a lot more closed in Q4, and you don't have the overflow that he's talking about. It's not near. You always have nurtured leads and stuff that are coming in, but he's saying due to the dip in volume that he's seeing moving forward, he doesn't expect to see that kind of overflow from Q1 to Q2.
So, okay, I see what you're saying. So agents are falsely thinking, dude, I had a great first quarter. Wait, I don't have anything for second quarter.
Right. I had a wonderful first quarter, but a lot of those people were people that they couldn't get to or didn't get to due to inventory concerns in Q4. Right. Builders are doing their best, but need years to catch up. Products are limited as inventory. So anyway, it's BJ Witkoff.
So what's anyone Clubhouse? Does anyone Clubhouse got anything to say? Are you guys seeing a spring season? Are you not? Where's the inventory at? What's going on in your markets?
Yeah, that's the key. The key phrase for me was your Q1 an overflow of Q4, or was it a legit new lead generation and closings? No one. Shawnee's in. What's up, Shawnee?
Hey, Ray. Yeah, that's really interesting. I think for me, definitely a lot of it's overflow, right? People who didn't find anything, but now I'm seeing a little bit more than before of a slowdown, just stuff on the market longer. I mean, it just seems to pick up more. I mean, as we have more inventory coming on, I'm seeing it. But it definitely has overflow, and then some people dropping out because they weren't homeowners, they were renting. You know, at some point, people, especially now because rents have gone up so much, they don't want to go month to month in a lot of cases because it's so high, or they just assume that they're not going to find anything. So I've had people drop out. Just today, I had somebody who just did that, but they're not the only people. So definitely for me, I think it's more of an overflow, especially with interest rates now. It doesn't affect all of my buyers because for some people, it doesn't matter. Even if they're not cash, they can afford the changes. But I definitely see it as overflow, a lot of it.
Do you feel like you're still going to have overflow from Q1 to Q2, or do you think that the number of leads and stuff has picked up enough to match what you normally will do?
It does seem a little slower. As much as busy as I am with buyers, it just seems, I don't know if it's discouragement and sentiment or people are nervous about the stock market. Everybody's been saying, the last week especially. Actually, it started before that. I think it started the last week of April, all the instability, and this last few days is just going crazy. I don't know if that's what it is, but I'm definitely seeing a slowdown in the last, I would say, 30 days.
That's interesting. Okay.
I think Susan has something to say. Can I get to a couple comments on Clubhouse real quick?
Yeah, Susan, go ahead and share what your take is on this, and Dan can look in the chat while you're doing that.
Yeah.
Hey, thank you. I came in, you had already started, so I think your question was Q1 opposed to Q2 and Q4. Is that correct?
Yeah. Did you? So normally we have some overflow from Q4 to Q1, right? But what this article was stressing is that most of the activity in Q1 came from an overflow of Q4 in last year. So is that what you also saw, or did you see a lot of new buyers, new leads, new sellers coming in Q1 and Q2 this year?
Okay, my Q1 buyers were an overflow from Q4. My Q1 sellers were just they were all from my sphere, seeing what the market was doing and wanted to take advantage of it. Q2, I'm swamped, and it's not a carryover from anything. I don't know where they're coming from. I'm not complaining. I'll take it.
And Susan, what market are you in?
Cleveland, Ohio, east side suburbs. But I will say that inventory is still challenging. A lot of stuff selling, 24 hours. Thank you. But I'm noticing the stuff that were sellers probably did not listen to their agent and priced it too high are now getting price reductions.
Yeah. An increase in price reductions. Yeah.
Yeah. Those are up.
Yeah.
Reductions are up. How does that sound?
Reductions are up.
Yeah.
Decreases have gained.
Yeah. Home price gains have slowed.
Dan, what's everybody saying in the Clubhouse chat?
So Elizabeth Rodell, not Mike Elizabeth, just Elizabeth in Clubhouse. It's just her. I feel like they're just using buzzwords and comparing to low-hanging fruit mortgage companies. She also says her stocks are super down, which I've heard a lot from people that play the stock market. Mike Velez, I forget. I think he's here in LA, isn't he? I think I forget, but he says inventory is up. And then Jennifer S. Goodman. So spring buying season, we're at the point where people are tired of getting outbid. The Fed mortgage rates coupled with the stock market and crypto attack on Tether. I don't know what that means. It's volatile and people are being fed fear-based news. I think winter is coming early for residential buyers.
Uh-oh. Sounds pretty bad.
That was kind of like a promo for a new show.
I think.
What'd you say, Shawnee?
I'm sorry, the stock market, I think, is a huge part of it. Like the last week, I mean, if you invest in the stock market at all, I'm sure everybody has been looking if you're an investor. But it's been crazy. Like,
I'm trying to buy all I can.
In the stock market. Some of them are still sliding. Some stocks are still sliding.
Yeah, I mean, usually you see. I thought we were going to see, as the Fed was expected to raise rates, a lot of people will take profits right before Fed announcements and things like that. So I thought that's kind of what was happening, but it's continuing to go down. And your crypto portfolios are also down now, which is really interesting. Bitcoin is right above 30,000, I think, last time I checked. So it hasn't been down there in a long time. So there's. All right. So a couple of YouTube comments. Jason Bates says inventory is up slightly in Phoenix, which is not too uncommon for our summer months due to the heat and exiting snowbirds. Still multiple offer situations. Tim Macy of the Tim Macy Show, hashtag White Bucks, he said buyers from Q1 are actually the most difficult because their budgets have been pulled down so much. New buyers will go in with a 5.5% interest rate expectations and will be easier to work with.
Yeah,
I agree with that. Yeah.
That's kind of what I was saying. Everyone always says things
Tim.
more eloquently than I do, but that's kind of what I was saying, talking about the, what was it? The very first story or whatever it was with interest rates are up and then kind of slid back down. I think people are they waited and they're like, well, you know what? It is what it is. It's where we are. Things are hopefully going to go up slowly, but I expect to have a 5.25, 5.5 interest rate. And that's where we're at. That's what I'm going to go with. And I think he kind of nails it down there.
Jason says interest rates are actually picking up slightly as people adjust to the higher rates. Some even cashing out on 401ks to invest in real estate. Yeah,
I just had a buyer we closed that used a good chunk of his 401k for the down payment.
Tim Macy said crypto accounts are filled with tears. Yeah, my Shiba Inu is doing terribly. I mean, I bought it the wrong time there. Yeah, it's also, it's supposedly the new Doge, but I got in wrong. I bought wrong on that one.
Well, I think everyone's going to.
Right.
Yeah. Do you have Shiba Inu news?
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
What kind of show is this?
Tell me my hopes are not shattered.
What kind of show is this?
No, I think you're right because a lot of my clients, I looked at their part of their food for funds is the cash value of their stocks. You know what? But now it could be down 30%. Who knows, right? Just judging from averages. Just thinking about, my own situation. So I'm just wondering, that's probably something to do with it too. Some people, I'm pretty conservative. Some people, might be down 30, 40%. Who knows?
Yeah, that's true too. Especially if they had a bunch of crypto they were holding. Well, I have good news for everyone on the horizon. Housing supply is finally improving as high prices and rising rates weigh on sales.
Yeah, Ray, this news is this news cycle is like a roller coaster.
Just like a roller coaster. We should do a thumbnail about it.
See, okay, so on this one, I wonder how much for sale by owner paid for this article.
Yeah, I know. Everyone call that number there. One of the leanest housing markets.
Don't do that.
I should do it live on the show.
All right, I'll call it.
One of the leanest housing markets in history might be putting on some fat. I love that quote.
That's
supply of homes could increase in the next few weeks, according to Realtor.com. In April, inventory was 12% lower than the same month of last year. Smallest year-over-year decline since the end of 2019, which is good news. Another reading for the last week in April shows inventory down only slightly. 3% from a year ago. So Danielle Hale, chief economist for Realtor.com, said that the April data suggests a positive turn of events on the horizon for weary buyers. If the trends we're seeing now hold true, we could potentially see a year-over-year inventory growth in the next few weeks. What? Paul Laguerre.
Go down.
Say that again.
I said, or it could potentially go down.
It could, just like the other article, it could go up.
Exactly.
And it could go down.
Yeah, I mean, my prediction is things could go up. I think they're going to go up, or they might go down.
But the Joel Nelson Group in Washington, D.C. Has a guy named Paul Laguerre. He's a buyer agent there, and he says sanity seems to be returning. See how Paul get interviewed, guys, and our contributors. You gotta help a reporter out. Haro. The 25% reduction in buyers gets us to some sort of reasonableness, but it's still tough for less than strong buyers. He said the multi-million-dollar market is still brisk.
That quote from Salt Lakers, Doge poop coin.
Yeah, that's what's happened.
And then Tim Macy, when an NFT sells for 91 million, you might be in a bubble.
Yeah. But I mean, just attach the NFT to a house and then, right?
Sure. Just do that.
This quote is from hang on. Let me go back up. Dana Bull of Sotheby's International says prices haven't cooled yet, but some sellers have unrealistic expectations around price.
They do.
Some hard conversations are being had prior to listing, to set expectations with sellers.
Yeah, that's the main sticking point for a lot of the listing appointments I'm going on. No, but I should get this.
Talking about that?
Yeah,
who's just talking about the price reductions that are happening in the market? Was it Shawnee?
Yeah, price reductions. What?
Yeah.
Has it been half an hour? My bad.
He said that the next 8 or so weeks are going to be crucial for buyers and sellers as it is crunch time. Buyers want to secure homes right now, and sellers want to capitalize on peak demand. So
price reductions are up.
Price reductions are up.
Reductions rise.
Okay. I'm going to mention this because this is also being thrown around by talking heads, and I want to talk about how much of a non-story this is real quick. Right. Hold. Sorry, I shouldn't tell the listeners to hold. You can do whatever you want. FHA gives investors cold shoulders on foreclosed properties. So
that's a Beatty headline right there.
Yeah. Claims without conveyance of title program, a CWCOT program, specifically prioritize owner occupants, nonprofit organizations, and usually the government too. I don't see the government listed there.
It mentions it down.
It mentions it later.
Yeah.
Okay. The reason why this is a non-story is because this is pretty normal. Like almost all the FHA deals that I've seen, they go to owner occupants, nonprofits, and government purchasers first, and then investors are allowed to bid on them. Or the investor offers, you could bid on it, but it just gets held, and they work through all the other offers first before the investor offers looked at. So it looks like more foreclosures are starting to hit, which may be good news to relieve some of the low end.
Is there a bubble coming, Ray? I mean,
it looks a lot like it.
If your $300,000 house is now worth $150,
but that's literally the art. I mean, you can go read the article at Housing Wire. It's kind of normal. I mean, that's not new news, but I guess for this new program, it is.
It's a new-ish program that's effective immediately. But isn't this a way to kind of help boost inventory, or is it just a way to help?
Need a lot more foreclosures to be normal.
Yeah,
we're not even approaching normal yet.
Well, and that's where, again, we got to say it. I don't even know what the numbers are. Have you found any sort of stats on it? Like how many?
We haven't seen those foreclosed numbers in a long time.
Yeah,
we used to report that like almost monthly, like number of foreclosures and stuff, but they have not been reporting them very often.
But meaning, okay, sure, maybe foreclosures are on the rise, but how many of those actually have equity?
Tim Macy says they don't need to sell to investors. Plenty of owner occupants paying up top dollar right now. Okay, that's true. But wouldn't you think the investors would get outbid automatically by the owner occupants? And so why the need to even regulate? Wouldn't an investor pay a little less than an owner occupant? And if not,
for a while,
why isn't the owner occupant paying market value or more? It's interesting. I know what investors are not doing: sending buyer letters. But they could. Death knell for disputed love letter ban as Oregon concedes court ruling. So we talked about this a couple of times. It was a lot of people thought that this would be in, I guess you could say, in favor of the realtors that are saying you can't do love letters. I don't know. It's kind of, so the state of Oregon would accept a court ruling that has halted a ban. So they've halted the ban on homebuyer love letters.
Why though? Like, why is this a thing? Why are we wasting time in court about this? Just
wait, is halting the ban unconstitutional? This is a confusing.
No, I think they're saying the ban is unconstitutional.
That's what I thought too. The state of Oregon would accept a court ruling that it's halting the ban on homeowner love letters is unconstitutional. Okay, yeah. Wait.
Right.
No.
Okay, sure.
It's
maybe
halted
whatever.
ban. Whatever. This is not a well-written headline. The Oregon's love letter ban, which went into effect January before it was passed in March, would be held to violate the First Amendment of the U.S. Constitution of the United States, freedom of speech. The proposed ruling is a result of an agreement the state struck with Total Real Estate Group and represents, quote, a complete and final settlement of the brokerage claims against the state. So the brokerage brought this against the state. It's a significant victory for freedom of speech and opportunity. So the real estate agents were pro love letter, right? And they were suing Oregon because Oregon said, no, you can't do love letters.
I want to be able to get myself in hot water. Like,
yeah. Please let me get into lawsuits about fair housing.
Right. Please
Oregon,
let me violate all of the rules that are in place that say I'm not supposed to do this.
Yeah.
Come on, please. Thank
Basically,
you.
Oregon is like, they literally say Oregon has recognized that it would be futile to continue to fight and suppress the lawful, truthful, and helpful information contained in love letters. That's what the attorney for the brokerage said.
100%. And I don't disagree with that. But what about the people that don't send a love letter, that don't get their offer accepted?
Or what about the people that do send a love letter, and because of that love letter, they don't get picked because the seller is racist?
Okay. Or what if Ray and I are together and we send a great picture of us with our dogs?
Yeah.
And they're like, 2 men? No, I don't want to sell the house to 2 dudes.
Yeah.
Or
so this is what they say.
if you're in, I'm not going to say the agent's name, but Ray's going to know. If you're in certain areas where houses still have certain flags up,
MAGA. Sorry.
No, not those. Much older flags, but and still are openly a certain way. If you send a love letter,
vague but much.
I know I'm trying to be vague because I don't want to.
Yeah, we don't want to get.
If this agent would like me talking about this or not, but anyway, what if you send a love letter not knowing, and it's like, I ain't gonna accept your offer. Nah.
Yeah, I think I mentioned on this before where I had someone that wanted to send a love letter. I was like, no, you don't want to do that because I know this client. The letters often contain personal information about buyers and can disclose their race, sex, religion, family situation. This type of discrimination is already banned in the Fair Housing Act, but the law advocates argued that love letters provide a seller with more than enough information to discriminate, unconsciously or otherwise.
What if, I'm the exact same buyer as someone else, but I don't have military service and someone else does, and they get picked because they served in the military? Thank you for your service.
Yeah.
I mean,
an effort to pass a narrower version, which we talked about on the show, that would only ban love letters that contain discriminatory information fell short of becoming law. Advocates told Inman at the time that they were intent to.
But who's going to read through those letters to see, oh, this is discriminatory? Is it the lady at Twitter that's about to lose her job? Is she going to go over all this
censorship lady? I think what they would be able to do is that the real estate agent could look at it and say, then the real estate agent is practicing attorney.
Right. So then now I'm making decisions kind of like an attorney should make when I shouldn't. So why not we just don't do them? Well, now this is the agents in Oregon saying, no, we want to send love letters. What does NAR say about this?
Well, maybe it's just not a law. Maybe it's a best practice. That's not best. So do I agree that a seller or a buyer should be able to communicate with the seller any way they want? Yes. Do I agree that a real estate agent has to be central to a communication that could violate fair housing? No. So how do you reconcile those two?
Wait, I don't understand that question.
So I agree.
So you think a buyer should be able to walk up and knock on the door if they're represented by me and walk up and talk to the seller?
if a buyer wants to communicate any way they want to because of freedom of speech, they have the right to do that. They're the buyer. I'm only representing them. Okay.
Yeah. What's the next part?
So I agree. And I think that's the thing. It's like, that's freedom of speech. A buyer can do that if they wanted to. Okay.
Sure.
But should a real estate agent be forced to be part of that communication as their representative if it could violate fair housing in which the realtor is committed to uphold?
Okay, so now what about the other way? You're saying for the buyer. What about when the seller?
That's what I'm saying. Either like a real estate agent on either side. I'm submitting my offer with a love letter to you, a real estate agent, right? Real estate agent knows that by submitting the love letter to the seller, they could be in violation of fair housing, depending on how the seller reacts to the love letter. Do they have to be a part of that? Is a love letter a part of a contract? So right now in Arkansas, everyone's like, no, you don't have to. If someone submits a love letter, you don't have to present it. That's what a lot of people are saying.
Yeah.
Our Arkansas Real Estate Commission has spoken out against love letters and said, no, don't do it.
Yeah. So our offers are submitted to our listings, you can submit anything and the seller sees it. I always tell my sellers, do not look at the love letters. Don't do that.
Don't look, hide your eyes.
No, but now, okay. So to kind of further your point, Ray. So if I've had this happen, I don't know how many, 1,000 times in 11 years where I'm at an inspection and the seller's there without their agent. And I'm there with my clients and the inspector and whatever else is going on at the house. And they're like, yeah, we had the sewer looked at like 5 years ago, but we didn't fix anything. But, it had some stuff in it. It definitely had some drainage issues, but nothing big. And it's been fine. Their point is, no, it's been great. It's been working for us. But we saw some roots in there, that probably should be addressed.
We forgot to put that on the disclosure. Yeah,
right.
Okay. All right.
I mean, there's so many violations that happen at those things. And I always tell my buyers, I'm like, if they're going to say stuff, just let them say it. Don't respond really. Just go, okay. Like, don't let them know that they're saying something that could.
You represent the buyer only.
I represent the buyer. So I'm just like, just keep your mouths kind of shut and just go, okay, cool. Talk to them about, they love visiting Hawaii or where they're moving to. Sure. But they start talking about the house. Let them keep going. Just let them go.
Yeah. I mean, or even personal situations that your client could use to gain benefit from.
I mean,
fine.
Or dude, sometimes they'll straight up say, yeah, we know the carpet's rough. We've always thought about
we told our agent we do an allowance for it, but I didn't see that in the contract. Oh,
yeah.
Okay. We'll add it with a journal addendum. No big deal.
Yeah. I don't know if the agent mentioned it or not, but we would be fine with like a $5,000 credit or something. Okay.
Yeah, totally.
Okay.
Yeah,
I mean,
that kind of thing has happened. Yes,
that's worse than a love letter to me. That's just giving up. Here's all my cards. Look at them.
The person still gets the house in that case.
Yeah.
So I don't. I have mixed feelings about it as a buyer. I think, the buyer wants to do what they want to do. You should be able to do it. But however,
it can get you as the agent into hot water, though.
And, and it could also cause issues.
Yeah. So I said that before on the show. I used to do the love letters. Then after a while, I don't know, doing the show and even before that and with the new brokerage and stuff, I'm like, these are not a good idea.
Well, luckily we have a big giant membership group that's looking out for the best of us and that will surely come out with a ruling on it. Right, Dan? If only we were paying more in fees for them. That's right, fans. The National Association of Realtors voted to raise their annual membership fee.
How many total agents are there? 1.8 or
1.5 currently. They expect there to be 1.4 next year.
So 1.4 times $10.
Yeah, $10 is it's not
$14 million they just made.
It's not a huge raise. There've been a lot of people around the real estate industry calling for higher fees for years, saying that higher fees would have fewer real estate agents get into it that really don't know what they're doing or can't do it. And then the other side of it's like, no, we all started meager. So it's a $10 raise. It's a special assessment.
I honestly feel like,
what it's for?
Huh?
Can you guess what it's for? Did you read the article yet?
No. This is one of the ones.
Guess what the $10 is going to go to.
Okay.
What do we have going on, right? We're getting sued left and right for.
Yeah, I was going to say it's to help with all the if I'm making a serious answer, it's going to help with all the litigation things that are people that are trying to come after us and our commissions and our livelihoods. That's what this $10 is going to go to, right, Ray?
I would guess it would go towards maybe a website that has all MLSs combined and listing agents on
wishful
there,
thinking,
right?
though.
That would be an easy thing to do with $14 million.
100%.
Nope. We're both wrong.
Please.
The trade group special assessment is for its That's Who We Are campaign.
Oh, God.
Now, the membership will rise $45 in 2023.
End the show.
In addition to NAR's membership dues. 1.5 million members will see a $10 increase in their yearly bill. It's a special assessment for the ad campaign that started as a $15 in 1999, went to $20 in 2002, $30 in 2007, $35 in 2009. Now it's up to $45.
So now this is kind of like so my joke answer would have been, it's going to go to a new logo. It's going to go to marketing is what my joke answer would have been. So now we're here. And then,
and it is, it's like it is a joke.
It's like what Tim was saying earlier about, wait, aren't these mortgage companies, these fintech companies, aren't they just big budget marketers that kind of market a product and the product happens to be, and they're going to put it right into the same campaign, Who We Are, with the dumb R logo.
Read Tim's comment.
I'm not paying it.
You are going to pay it, actually.
No, I'm going to underpay by $10 on purpose.
Higher fees going to NAR is a dumb idea, says Tim Macy. It's like saying realtors should be required to burn more dollars.
Sure.
Well,
so just so you guys are clear out there, not to fight all the people that are coming after us, and just to do the normal.
Not for a better legal team,
and not
for
a website that unifies all MLSs across the country.
Right? No.
You could probably do that for $14 million, right, Ray?
I think you do that for a lot less than $14 million.
Huh?
Yeah. I mean, I think with the right IDX feeds, you could do it on WordPress for like $10, and then you just have to contact all the MLSs to get the IDX feeds, and then you've done it. You've done it, Dan. You've solved the problem. So Tim has already sounded off, and that's good, because we have a follow-up article that says, much needed or ridiculous? Realtors sound off on the NAR fee hike. Nothing like a price jump to get the brokers talking. That's what it says. Oh, man. NAR's mid-year conference, Realtors legislation meetings Friday. The trade group's board of directors approved a 29% increase to the special assessment from $35 to $45, which is a $10 increase for us. Much needed, says Emmy Simpson, a realtor at Better Homes and Garden Real Estate in Steinburn.
Hold on. I'm going to do some math.
Associates.
I'm going to do some math.
Yeah.
I'm just going to call it 1.4 million will be.
There were some at the meeting who thought it should have gone to 20, she added.
What? Okay. Times $35.
Tim McBrayer said, when a couple of cups of coffee cost more than $10, this increase should not be a financial burden.
What? But realtors need their coffee, Tim, or whoever said that.
I believe it's a small price to pay to educate consumers about what it means to use the services and expertise of realtors.
Wait, is there anyone that says no one cares that we're part of NAR? No
Bill
one has
Flagg
ever said
the ad campaign has been very successful. So the $10 increase was on the light side.
These are all no, dude. So wait, has anyone?
We have the Photify app that is a free tool with a NAR dues, and it's worth $10 alone.
Come on, man. These are all plants.
$10 should have been raised at least 1,000, said Dennis Murphy, Remax, real estate broker.
Come on. You're making these up, right?
Make a 2-year waived fee to introduce new realtors in.
Wow. Wait.
Are we talking about NAR or are we talking about the NRA? Because it's like
What kind of show is this?
That's amazing.
That's so good. Dues at all levels need to start moving up, along with licensing fees, to start turning out the license hangers and get those not committed to this business, said Bill Lyons, broker associate.
Wait, okay, Ray, you've been doing this 15 years.
Yeah.
Has anyone in all of the transactions you've done on either side, has anyone ever said, Are you part of NAR? I'm not going to work with you if you're not part of National Association of Realtors and the Who We Are campaign.
But Dan, Lana Schieretti says, I'm so proud when I hear the advertising on the radio and television. They're looking after us, realtors that are in this business. I'm so proud to be a member of NAR. Thank you for looking out for us. Okay.
Wait, hold on. I did some math. Ready?
Yep.
The special assessment, they're calling it, is going from 35 to 45, right?
Right.
So 1.4 million members. That's what expected to be next year.
Yeah. Yeah. Loosely.
Times 35. You know what that math is, Ray?
What's that?
That's $49 million.
Wow.
Okay, ready?
Wow.
Ready? Going up $10 to 45. $63 million. They're going to spend $63 million on Who We Are campaigns.
It sounds like you're more of a fan of a fella named Brian Windsor of Remax.
Yeah.
He told Inman, this fee is ridiculous.
Thank you.
A top-heavy organization that really doesn't do much. I'm paying for a useless org, kind of like union members that pay their dues. I pay from my hard-earned money and get nothing. How about asking them to cut the fat? Why are the board of directors making $1 million each? Commercials that don't do anything to help me.
I mean, this guy's on point. Wait, why is his quote at the end of the article?
If I didn't have to join, I would quit this org in a heartbeat.
What kind of show is this?
Why do we have two buildings on two of the most expensive streets in the country? Michigan Avenue in Chicago and Jersey Avenue in DC. Get rid of them both. Move to cheaper areas. Only one that's needed would be the one in DC location and be moved to a less expensive surrounding area. Sell Chicago and lower our fees.
You guys are legit. So wait,
Windsor said he had to join NAR because his brokerage bylaws that if the office is a member, then the agents have to hang their license must become members.
Yeah.
I would have to find an office that's not a member, he said. Joining also gives the exclusive right to the name of Realtor. That's a trademark by the association. Only members are allowed to use it. So Remax, Berkshire Hathaway, EXP, Keller Williams, and the nationally known names are all members, and they require agents to join. Otherwise, you can't work under the broker licenses. So Philip Land of the Atlantis Group had a similar take. NAR has done nothing to deserve this raise, he told Inman. They appear to be losing the issues in court. They've eliminated the emeritus status for all 40-plus year members unless they've served the NAR board of directors. Talk about self-serving. Have not done anything for the general membership.
Oof.
He said he's an NAR member because he has no option if he wants to be a part of the MLS. Wow. Mina Reed.
So now let's switch this up though. If this 35 going to $45 was for to make, our legal battles go away, or to keep fighting them, or to do a legit marketing campaign, or like Ray said, dude, 63 million, you could not only combine all the MLSs, you could have a better website using proven technology. You could buy technology from Zillow and use it for $63 million. And by the way, Ray, that's just for the $45, not the, we pay $1,000 a year. That's just for the $45. I don't necessarily agree that they haven't done anything. We've been attacked a lot in the last few years, and I've turned the corner a bit in that regard, but still the marketing is horrible. I've never had anyone going, do you have that little R pin, Who We Are pin? Because I saw a commercial and I wanted to make sure you have that little R pin and then we'll work together. I've never had that happen, but
if that's who you are.
That's who I are.
Mina Reed. I want to get into all the sound offs. Mina Reed, M-I-N-N-A. I might be saying her name. She may be Minna. She said NAR is an industry dinosaur that not only survived due to the monopoly on the MLS access, that only survived due to the. Let me just reread that. Because NAR is an industry dinosaur that only survived due to their monopoly on MLS access. I, for one, am counting the days until joining NAR is a choice. That day is coming, and they will be a thing of the past. They will lose 90% plus of their members if they had to prove their value. Forcing the realtors to pay to play is the way NAR survives. Yikes.
Okay, I mean, okay. So remember, we have our NAR coming. It's National Association of Radical Realtors. I'm going to start that. I think it's coming.
So you guys could check it out on the Realtor signed off. There's way more. And there's some more moderate takes, saying, well, there's probably some excess, but it's been good otherwise. But there's also a lot more harsh takes on there.
Shani says is it Shani or Shani?
Shani.
I never.
But Sean, I'm up here, but I was actually on my other line. But yep.
Yeah.
Shani,
So
go ahead. Go ahead.
She has a comment on there, but yeah, go ahead, kid.
Yeah, tell us live since you're off the phone.
Yeah.
I'm sorry about that. Yeah, I was just saying that whoever made the comment, you were reading the statement for the person that was upset about our membership, but you can join another brokerage or open your own. So it's almost like the for sale by owner argument, like forcing a buyer's agent commission. You don't have to hire a realtor.
But you do.
Don't have to join a big.
You do if you want to be a part of the local board. There's a lot of local MLSs that won't allow real estate agents or real estate brokers that are not a part of the National Association of Realtors to have access to the multiple listing service.
Pay up, sucker.
True, but there are places, I know most of the big bosses do require it, and I think there are good reasons. As much as there's some things we don't like about NAR, but it's one of those things where it's not an absolute necessity. It's not. There's people in my market who aren't a member of the NAR, but I don't think the board. It's the office. It's on the office level, but I guess there are some local boards that don't allow it.
In ours, you can't be on the MLS unless you're a realtor. So you got to pay. You got to pay.
Okay.
Up. You got to pay to play. So now I think that's
There's
changing.
I think that aren't builders.
I think the DOJ. I think that's one of the things that they were talking about changing is allowing more access to the MLSs and super keys, and like you can't even unlock a door if you're not a realtor here. So
yeah, I think I like that part. That's more security and stuff. But just to get access to listings and data, you have to be part of this thing that is going to use your money for horrible marketing ideas. Although those off the wall commercials were legit.
Well, now the NAR said that non-realtor members or non-realtors now have to have access to be able to show your home. So I think that's going to be changing. That's one of the things that came in the fall ruling for the DOJ versus NAR is that now, you have to have access to be able to open the home. It did not say you have to give them MLS access though. And I agree with Minna. Oh, that's her name. I agree with her.
But the problem is, Ray.
What?
I was going to say, having been a local board member, and on committee still involved in the board, then they don't have to play by the rules, right? Ethics go out the window. You can't bring a case against them unless it's against the real estate commission. You can't bring a realtor's ethics case or a local board case against somebody who doesn't want to play fair, or do fair things according to what our ethics are. So,
our ethics are lightweight. Like no one's bringing those charges anyway. We're not self-policing.
Oh, they do in my area.
I think there should be more self-policing.
100%.
Okay, so speaking of, I'm going to skip due to time constraints. I'm going to skip despite rising rates, Rocket delivers a $1 billion in profit. Okay, Rocket was super profitable in the first quarter. It also says it's preparing for future declines. So you guys could check out those two articles, one on Housing Wire, one on Inman.
That's funny. We're super profitable. We've laid off a lot of people. It could go. What we're saying is it's going to probably go up, but it could also probably go down.
Also probably could go down.
Yeah, that's what they're saying there.
But I do want to get to this because we are talking about NAR and kind of their impact.
Now, wait.
And I agree and disagree with Shani.
So you're about to do the transition. Don't yet, because there's now it's Andy. I don't know how to say his last name. TSE. So is it
Andy C?
C.
TSE.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he says, and these are in the comments on Clubhouse, NAR does some pretty good lobbying for our industry, which I agree with. And I don't think Ray and I are disagring with that part. It's more where this $45 goes to.
For the industry as a whole and for property ownership. They've been legit at that. I would agree with Andy there. And
the part where they're fighting to keep, agents involved and our commissions and the antitrust going on, all of that stuff. We agree with that part. So we're not saying that. He says, I'm pretty sure you don't have to be part of NAR for access to MLS. That ended, but he said double check that, and Ray already knows that. So
yeah, that's
I wonder if you guys, I do have to say.
Go ahead.
Sorry, I just wanted because I was the chair of my legislative committee for about 5 years. So yeah, I supported RPAC. I still do. I mean, they're one of the few groups that do lobby on our behalf. So there's certain things we don't like about them, but lobbying, nobody wants to lobby for realtors except for NAR. So that's one of the few groups that does lobby on our behalf, and we need that part.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think they do pretty well in the lobbying. They were a little bit heavy-handed on the left side, which kind of brought about Rex. If you're not familiar with Rex, it was they went after the conservative legislature and kind of dominated with getting several of them to back them. And then Rex came out fighting all they could versus NAR. And we're about to talk about them in a second.
And all that stuff. Yeah.
I don't disagree with both Andy and Shawnee as far as that goes. And Derek also brings up that point. Lobbying and supporting real estate friendly candidates and fighting for some home ownership rights on our behalf costs a lot. That alone would be worth it. And we get the other resources. I agree with that. But the raise, the additional monies, $45 from each of us goes to their ad campaign. And I just feel like there's a different direction they could go.
Right. Exactly.
Instead of doing the ad campaign, you just take 1 year's worth of that money and create an amazing user-friendly platform for all consumers to go to, and that realtors are already paying for with our dues. Just think of the
63 million.
It would change how real estate is done and how we operate, and talk about the perks and benefits of being a realtor.
I mean, think about this. So forget marketing. What if we had an amazing one-stop shop that had all of our listings, brokerage information, agent information, title, escrow, mortgage options, all in one spot where, talk about knowing who we are. If everyone went to that website instead of the other ones, that would be the best marketing campaign you could have. In my opinion.
Now, I'm not saying please don't try to do a CRM. Let's not, but have it to where it could connect with my CRM. Don't try to do just make a website that works really, really well for the consumer. The Houston area realtors.
The blueprint is already there.
Yeah, it's already there. They're doing a great job of it. And you could do it per state on a state-by-state basis, roll it out. Each state has their own. And then eventually you have one. There's different ways to do it. I'm just saying.
So that's the thing. Is
$45 per member is not necessary for the Who We Are ad campaign.
Well, how cool would it be though, Ray, when I have a client that's selling, part of the mass exodus here in California, they're going to Arizona, they're going to Georgia, they're going to Idaho, wherever they're going to Arkansas. What was that little city we mentioned last week that's going to be the next boom town in Arkansas?
Dumas? I don't know. It could be.
Yeah. They're just like the little city in California. It's going to be a boom town.
Pine Bluff. Yeah.
They're going now. Wouldn't it be cool if I was able to go online with them and show, hey, I'm sending this client to Ray. He's going to help them on the buy side. Now we're looking at listings together. Now I'm not part of that MLS, but I can see it and just say, hey, here's what you're seeing. When Ray's, they're not ready to sell yet. They're going to be, and I'm already kind of, here's what's out there. And that helps them go, oh, cool. There's plenty of stuff in the ballparky price range I'm going to have when I sell my home here in California. Right. And I move. And then when they sell and I say, hey, it's time to meet up with Ray and his buyer's agent and all that stuff, then they get going and they're looking at the exact same listings, not what's on Redfin or Trulia or Zillow, which we all know can be really, really wrong.
Imagine they see the listing agent for those properties. If you're just shopping, you haven't committed to an agent yet, you're seeing a listing agent and their listing. And then once you've committed, let's say you just want to use Dan is everywhere because he's got an exclusive agreement with you as a real estate agent. And any inquiry you make on their website, it goes straight to Dan because Dan is your agent. He's your realtor. There's a ton of
things to do. So we're not disagreeing with this at all. We're just disagreeing how are they using it?
How they're using it. And
again, the $63 million number I bring up is for just the $45 special assessment that they call it for the Who We Are campaign or whatever. And they're
still getting all the other fees. They're still getting the lobby fees.
They're still getting everything else. They're still going to lobby for us. And they are a powerful lobbyist. And they're for home ownership. And they're for candidates that are going to support future home ownership and all that stuff. Let's go all in. But what if they just funneled $63 million towards this new amazing. I mean, there's not even, we've in almost 5 years of doing this show, we've never, ever done an article on NAR comes up with a new idea, first of all, or NAR comes up with a new strategic idea that's going to do.
No. There was one we did.
What was that?
The logo.
Okay, that's what I'm saying.
All right. And that being said,
right,
let's talk about a bug that they're actively squishing. That logo was so funny. Okay, so Rex. Has Rex officially ceased operations?
Yes.
So just to bring you guys up to speed, Rex was a place that they were coming out and saying, hey guys, don't use realtors. You don't need to use realtors. Just use us. We're going to list your home in all the same places.
And we're going to save you money, but we're going to charge you 12%.
Right. Well, I think they were trying to save the listing side, was it? But they were still paying the buying side, and there were some other fees if you wanted them to do other stuff for you, right?
Yeah.
So then they would list you everywhere online like Zillow. And then Zillow said, hey guys, we're now a member of the National Association of Realtors. So according to the Realtor rules, we have to have 2 columns. We got to have one group of like, hey, here's all the Realtor houses. And then here's everything else.
Here's the tab. We put you,
Here's
we gave
the tab
you
for everything else.
Rex.
For sell by owners, other companies,
Rex.
all that stuff. Rex. So they did that. They did the switch, and it put the hurt on Rex because apparently Rex had actually built their platform on someone else's built their business on someone else's platform.
Right. So the whale was no longer producing food.
So Rex comes out and says, okay, we're suing Zillow and NAR because you guys are conspiring to kick us out of the business. It looks like that did happen. I don't know if the conspiring did, but they're definitely going out after 2 rounds of layoffs or restructuring to join the MLS and swirling rumors regarding leadership. Staffers tell us the company has crumbled. And this is the American Genius for Real Estate. That's the outfit that put this out. I've never heard of them, but okay. Real estate brokerage Rex Homes became famous in recent years for spreading the antitrust lawsuit against Zillow and the National Association of Realtors, accusing them of being cartel to edge out non-MLS participants, which we were just kind of talking about. But it appears that as of today, the company may no longer be in existence. Numbers of staff reached out to us directly, said the company's last day was Tuesday, and the company-wide call on Friday outlined the end of Rex Homes.
Was it a Zoom call?
I don't know. That's a good question. Better.com might know. Several LinkedIn users formerly employed at Rex Homes are putting their quote hashtag open to network signs up. Okay. So anyway, the way all this stuff came about was very political. I mean, they were basically getting Republican lawmakers and former lawmakers to back their company. And then those people were coming out against the National Association of Realtors in a lot of ways, saying the NAR was bad for consumers. And that it seemed like every time that Rex was having a hard time, they would bring up another lawsuit or another news round for the lawsuit.
It's how they were trying to stay relevant. It was my take on it.
Right. They were trying to promote themselves as David versus Goliath, and everything they were doing was going from David, the David versus Goliath argument.
David had no ammo.
So it looks like they may be out. The article goes on to say they're not sure. The article's not sure what happens. Can the company still even sue because they're no longer in existence? Do they have to be in existence in order to sue? So it says it's also unclear what it means for the ongoing lawsuit against Zillow and NAR and how a non-existent company can pursue a class action lawsuit, but no filings have been. So I'm sure the company it seems obvious that they would shut down operations, but they would still hold the company name would be still registered with the state somewhere so they could continue to bring the lawsuit. But even do they want to because of the cost?
Yeah, if they're not operating anymore, they don't have any funds coming in. But can we just add this to the list? Add this to our bedpost. This is another one that we've kicked out of the industry. We started with Purple Bricks, and
then Rex.
I think we've got a bunch on our belt. We got a couple notches on our belt loops now. So don't mess with us.
Is on the bedpost. Is that a thing?
We did it. It's us.
Huh. Well,
hip.
If you do notches on a bedpost, don't do them at the Airbnb. Here's what hosts need to know about Airbnb's big changes. This article is on Inman. What are you laughing? This article is on Inman.
There's a lot of reasons I'm laughing, but that's a good transition. Our transitions have been solid today.
They've been solid today.
Good.
All right, so Airbnb is making major updates to its search and booking functions, plus beefing up its trip insurance policies. Biggest change to Airbnb in a decade, they said. So basically, the changes are Airbnb categories. Guests can target specific amenities or attractions when finding places to stay. Split stays make it easier for guests to book 2 homes in a single trip. That's cool. Air cover, a sort of insurance policy in case the host cancels booking or if the home isn't as advertised. That's provided free. The way people travel has changed. We're making some changes to help people. What hosts need to know. This is why I'm bringing it up, because we have a lot of real estate agents, real estate industry people, and hosts that watch the show or listen to the podcast. It says categories operate using machine learning, pulling from written descriptions, photos, captions, and other data inputs that the host reviews left by guests. The Airbnb team will also pick what photo is featured on the search. So if a listing is in the amazing pools category, the first photo will show a pool. That makes sense. Yeah. Split stays is the company way of capitalizing on a trend where stays of 28 days or more are the fastest growing category. The company says guests will spend 40% more listings searching for longer stays than shorter ones.
Yeah.
That's
good knowledge to know. That really is.
Yeah. Search results will also automatically show split stays when guests search within 14 categories, such as camping, national parks, skiing, and surfing. Cool. Anyway, that's the Airbnb air cover. Think of it like an insurance policy. Should guests encounter any issues checking in if the home isn't what is advertised, or if a host cancels booking within 30 days of check-ins, or if a guest feels unsafe during their stay.
Describe unsafe.
Want my money back.
Yeah, I feel unsafe. Can I have my money back, please?
Yeah, that's going to be... We'll see how that works out.
That one's a little open-ended there. By the way, James Waba, I'm guessing his last name is pronounced.
Yeah.
He asks on Clubhouse, is it good to kill innovative real estate companies?
What innovative real estate companies was killed?
I think he's talking about Rex. And he does
what was
say
innovative about not using a realtor?
What's innovative about building your platform on someone else's
Zillow
platform?
There's nothing innovative about saying, hey, use me. I'll list your home on Zillow too. Where's the innovation? There's no innovation there.
There's zero. Yeah. So there you go, James.
So no, but I would say if the market kills the innovative idea, then maybe yes, that's a good thing because it wasn't innovative enough to survive the market.
Mm-hmm.
If the idea doesn't survive the debate, it shouldn't have been put out anyway. So, but that's maybe a little harsh for today's kids. But good question. We need to go hard in something. We haven't gone hard in anything in a long time.
Well,
that's the show for today, folks. It's another long one because we just have so many news articles lately. You know, like a couple of months ago, there was like 3-4 articles, and we were like stretching to get an hour. Yeah. That's like an hour and a half almost every show lately because there's just been so much to cover. So we really appreciate you guys.
There was
hardly any banter.
We kept it short on purpose.
But I want to thank all of y'all for joining us, especially all the Clubhouse folks too, because I know it takes a lot for y'all to come up and actually speak. We really appreciate that. Sorry if we didn't get to everyone, but please follow, especially the mods. The people that are followed by the speakers are also good people too. So follow them. And if you're not followed by a speaker yet and you are down in the others in the room category, definitely reach out, follow the speakers, network, and let yourself be known. Follow the Real Estate Networking Club. It's a little green house at the top of Clubhouse. If you click that, you'll be notified of great rooms like this one, the Practical and Tactical that's on Mondays as well by our good friend Jason Conoco. Yesterday was his birthday, so happy birthday, Justin.
Happy birthday, zombie killer.
Yeah, and also, if you're watching this on the YouTubes, please subscribe, hit the bell so that you'll be notified of when we go live next time. And Dan, why don't you tell people where they can find you?
Nowhere. Don't find me anywhere. Ray, where can they find you?
Look for me on Instagram. It's the best place. Ray Zorback, RayZorback. You'll see where I tagged my good friend D Ludwood Rocks.
Dang it, Ray. I'm doing the thing. Last week I did the thing.
Yeah, the
I
reverse
said, don't
psychology
follow
does
me on
it.
Instagram. And I got like 10 new followers.
Oh,
Don't
really?
follow me. Don't follow me anywhere. I
Oh.
don't want any more followers.
That's
I
the case.
just
Don't follow
want
me
that.
either. Yeah, yeah. It's terrible.
I don't put out anything controversial. I don't put out anything enticing. There's no good content. Nothing there. Nothing.
What kind of show is this?
All right. Well, thanks so much for joining us, everyone. And we will see you guys. Is it next week you're out? No. Next week we're on. The week after.
25th. My daughters are graduating from 6th grade.
There you
go.
So no show on the 25th, but we will have a show next week. So.
Mark your calendars, because I know you all mark your calendars when my daughters are graduating. So
set reminders, 12 o'clock Central Time. And we will see you guys next week. Thanks for joining us. Bye, everybody.
Love you guys.